The Bhagavad Gita, Dhyana Yoga. Text number 40. So Jayanti had a good idea. How about we run this session like I'm not here, and I'll just start going, and then I can also.
Do you think I just recently come from India? I'll find out straight away. We're not a dog, Prabhuji. We're human.
That's why we have these neck beads. We're Krishna's dog. We're Krishna's dog.
Krishna's dog, but we can understand. If you're there or not there, we know it.
So what's the quality of the dog? Is one of them is obedience. So we have to be very obedient.
When you're not here, Deepa is very silly.
Okay. Always.
I think we can do a little bit like that. I'll also say some things, but I think you can all think of something to say also in the section you're reading, and that'll be good. This is an interesting verse also, so I'm sure there'll be a lot can come out of this. I can read the Sanskrit as we do, and even if you struggle with the Sanskrit, you can even, if you're not confident with the Sanskrit, you can even leave that out of your sessions and just start with the English translation if you're finding it too difficult. I mean, I recommend you try to do it because it's good practice. It's good practice, but if it's not working out, or if you come to a section where the verses are a bit hard, you can just go straight to the English. It's up to you. But here it is, text 40. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Parthanaiveha namutra.
Parthanaiveha namutra.
Vinashas tasya vidyate.
Vinashastasya vidyate.
Nahi kalyana krit kaschid.
Nahi kalyana krit kaschid.
Durgatim tata gachati.
Durgatim tata gachati.
Good. Well done. Okay.
We are good because we're just copying you. When you're not here, we're not good. I can guarantee that.
Oh, goodness me.
Okay, Gulshan, we're putting you on the hot spot now. Then you lead the verse. Let's see. You lead the verse.
Okay. You want me to read the English or start Sanskrit?
No, the Sanskrit. You read the Sanskrit.
Okay.
We'll follow you.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Partha Neveha Namatru. Vinashaya Sastasa Vidyate.
Vinashastasya vidyate.
Nahi Kalyana Kritak Shri.
Nahi kalyana kritkaschid.
Durgati Tata Gachati.
Durgatim tata gachati.
Not as good as you, but okay.
You're good. Pretty good.
That's all right.
There is hope.
All right, I'm the captain of the ship next week.
That was all it took.
Deepa, your turn.
Oh, far out.
Oh, yes.
The Sanskrit.
Yes.
Holy moly. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan
Uvacha.
Parthanaiveha. I can't even read it. Jeez.
Oh, hard for your eyes to see.
Oh, yeah, because of the reflection. Tasmatra. Nasmutra.
Parthanaiveha
Vinashastasya vidyate.
Vinashastasya vidyate.
Naki kalyate kartashid kashid.
Nahi kalyana kritkaschid.
Durgatim tata gachati.
Durgatim Tata Gachati. Well done.
That was very good, Deepa. I think Deepa can lead.
Yes,
No.
Deepa, your voice is wonderful.
Oh, please.
Okay, we've saved the best till last, Bhakti Mala.
Yeah.
You're doing this because you know how bad I am at it.
No, not at all.
Oh dear. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri
Shri
Bhagavan.
Bhagavan Vacha.
Pratha Naivha Namutra Na
Pratha Vihana Mutra.
Vinasya Tasya Vidyate
Vinasya Tasya Vidyate.
Nahi Kalyana Krit Kasid
Nahi Kalyana
Kritashi.
Durgatnim Tata Gachati.
Durgatim Tata Gachati.
That's okay, not
Well
bad.
done.
Oh dear.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, Gulshan, English translation, please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Son of Partha, a transcendentalist engaged in a spiritual activity does not meet with destruction either in this world or in spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil.
Very nice.
Mm.
I mean, I'll just say a little bit, and then when we read the purport, you guys can say something. So, yeah, Krishna here is addressing Arjuna, the son of Pritha. So, who's Pritha? That's Arjuna's mother, who was mainly known by the name Kunti. Kunti. He was mainly known by the name Kunti. But this was another one of Kunti's names, was Pritha. So because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, then he was known, one of his names was Partha. Partha means he's the son of Pritha. That's how he got the name Partha. So, son of Pritha.
Sometimes he say Kuntai to Arjuna. Means Kunti's son, Kuntai.
Yes, Kunteya.
The same side part.
Yeah. Often the parent's name and the children's name was very similar. Like, for example, that when Krishna appeared in the prison house of Kamsa, he appeared in front of his mother and father, who were two devotees who assumed that role as his parents, although we know ultimately God doesn't have parents. He's the parent of everyone else. We're all his children. But he likes to have different relationships with different devotees. So some devotees want to have a relationship with God, that God is my child, God is my son. So for those devotees that want to have a relationship with God as their son, then God creates that opportunity, that although he's the father of everyone, but he'll appear as their son. So two devotees, Vasudeva and Devaki, wanted to have God as their child. So Krishna appeared in front of them. He didn't come out of the womb of Devaki. He just appeared in front of them, full size, not as a baby, but fully grown with long hair and fully dressed and with ornaments and everything. So definitely he wasn't born like an ordinary child. And then later on, he shrunk himself up to look like an ordinary baby, and Vasudeva carried him over the Yamuna River to Nandagram, to the village where Nanda Maharaj lived on the other side from Mathura. So Mathura was on one side of the Yamuna, and then Vrindavan area on the other side of the river. So he was carried over there to that Vrindavan side, and then he was handed over to Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So there are another two devotees that wanted to have God as their son. So he fulfilled all their desires. But anyway, when he appeared to Vasudeva, so he was known as Vasudeva. So Vasudeva is Krishna with four arms. So Krishna, when he has four arms and outside of Vrindavan, because Krishna with two arms, he never leaves Vrindavan. If you see that Krishna is having pastimes outside of Vrindavan, like in Mathura or Dwarka, that's actually not Krishna, but that's an expansion of Krishna called Vasudeva. So Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. So the father's name is short A, short Vasudeva. But Krishna's name is Vasudeva, long A. So the son's name, long A, and the father's name, short A. So Vasudeva, the father, and Vasudeva, the son.
So we can call your son Abhaya. Abhaya.
And yeah, so often there'll be similarity in the name between the parents and the child. So here Krishna's addressing Arjuna as the son of Kunti or Pritha, like that. And Arjuna has had a doubt that what's going to happen if I don't make it, like Gulshan keeps talking about. What if I don't make it back to Godhead? I think I'll have to come back again. So that doubt may be there, that what if we don't, not 100% successful in spiritual life, we're going to come back maybe in a difficult situation or whatever like that. But so here, what does Krishna say? Even if we don't make it back to Godhead, what's going to happen? It's saying here, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So transcendentalist means one who's trying to connect with God. If once someone tries to connect with God, however successful they may be, whether it's 10% or 50% or 80% or 100%, but it's all good because they're engaged in very pure activities. Any time that we're trying to love God, just that endeavor to try to serve God and love God, that's a very pure activity. That's very auspicious activity. Like, for example, even if someone says the name Krishna just once in their life, that was so auspicious. That was so auspicious means like good. That was so good, so auspicious, and it counteracts so much bad stuff. Like if someone chants the name Krishna once in their life, and I mean most people probably have, right? So many people have said the name Krishna that it destroys all the pap, all the sins, not only of this life that we've done previous to now, but of all the previous lives also. However, of course, we shouldn't take advantage of how good that is and then think, well, I'll just go out and kill a cow and chant Krishna, or, rape someone and say Krishna, or, go out to the casino and drink liquor and then say Krishna. So we shouldn't use these very good activities, pure activities, to counteract bad things. But still, it is very powerful. So anyone that does any of these good activities, connecting with God, then they're very blessed, they're very fortunate. And it's said immediately, like someone says Hare Krishna, that Krishna's attention is drawn to them. So Krishna's going to home in on that soul, and it's going to make some arrangements to bring that soul back to Godhead. So that's why they're never going to, like it's saying here, that they does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. So they're not going to meet with destruction because they've already attracted God's attention. God is already making plans from that time. How are we going to bring Gulshan back to Godhead? Because he served out prasadam in the Bhakti tree on a Friday night. That he's immediately from that time making plans how we can get this rascal to come back to Godhead like that. So our life becomes fortunate. We become fortunate as soon as we connect with Krishna in one way or another. Or even if someone touches a book, touches Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they become fortunate from that point. I remember when I was very young, my mother brought home a box of books from the flea market, and amongst those books was The Science of Self-Realization, and I saw the picture of Prabhupada on the front, and then inside it had, you know, Mahavishnu with universes coming out of his skin pores, and I didn't realize the significance of that at the time because I didn't even read it because I was so young. But I'd become purified right from that point of touching the book, and my life became blessed by that. And then years later, many years later, that blessing I had then by touching the book led to the next thing, where years later, a vegetarian friend of mine led me to a Hare Krishna restaurant, and then I had prasadam, and then became even more blessed. And then within 1 year of doing that, of having prasadam, then I met a devotee, and then came into the association of devotees. So one thing leads to another thing, leads to another thing. So the main thing is once we start, then Krishna's going to work out how we can get, you know, this conditioned soul to come back to Godhead.
Well, Deepa is already liberated because she arranged the Rath Yatra.
Yeah.
She's done, man. You got a one-way ticket to Krishna Loka, no back, 100%.
It says even if someone attends a Rath Yatra,
Yeah, she arranged it. Wow.
speak of arranging it for everyone else to attend.
Yeah.
So definitely very fortunate that, you know, we are attracting the attention of Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. Jagannath means the master of the universe. So, but once he's pleased, then what can't you achieve? You know, if the Lord of the universe is pleased, you know, what do you have to worry about? You know, is there anything impossible? No, anything, like Prabhupada said, the word impossible is a word in a false dictionary. Because once you connect with God, you know, anything can happen, even though we may be so unqualified or whatever. But if he wants, he can just take us back to God. It's no problem at all. But the main thing is that everyone should have the opportunity to render a little service. I mean, in my guru's ashram in America, he's got a quote from Prabhupada on the wall when you enter in there: never underestimate the value of devotional service. Because devotional service is so powerful that it pleases Krishna, and once it pleases Krishna, then he comes under the control of that under the control of that devotee that renders him service. So once you serve Krishna and he's pleased, then that control. One of Krishna's names is Ajita. Ajita means he is never conquered. He's unconquerable, isn't it?
Yep.
Couldn't conquer him. Jarasandha couldn't conquer him. Ravana couldn't conquer the Lord in the form of Ram. You know, Hiranyakashipu couldn't conquer Nrsimhadev, like that. So all the different incarnations, but the Lord is never conquered by anyone, by any demons. And yet, although he's Ajita, unconquerable, he becomes voluntarily Jita. So if you take the A off it, it gives you the opposite meaning. So Ajita means unconquerable, and Jita means conquered, defeated. So it said that the unconquerable Lord becomes conquered by the love of his devotee, conquers him. So therefore you'll see that it's weak woman, Yashoda, could tie up Krishna with ropes.
Bhaktimala, why did you stand? Are you being punished?
Oh, I'm heating up my heat pack.
Oh, okay.
Hard to sit. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. And that Mother Yashoda could control Krishna, or Arjuna can order Krishna on the battlefield. You drive my chariot into the middle of the battlefield. Right in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, you know, Arjuna's giving that order to Krishna to drive his chariot into the battlefield. And when Krishna was young, that Nanda Maharaj would instruct baby Krishna, bring my chappals, bring my shoes. So Krishna would put his father's shoes on his head
Wow.
and carry them to give them to his father. So Krishna become conquered by the loving devotion of his devotees. So yeah, devotional service or bhakti is very powerful. Once someone does that, like it's saying here, it's so auspicious, so good, and that person will never be destroyed. They'll never be annihilated. So
I think the Ratha Yatra must have caused offense, no? Because 2 months after that, we all went into COVID lockdown.
That was good actually. COVID is it's mercy of the God. So that's why we start the the class in the online because of the COVID, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you to Krishna, and thank you to Deepa Ma. Deepa Mataji, you are the best.
Oh,
You don't know that. Oh, I'm telling you. Oh. Because you looking after your husband, everything, and with the different religions, still you went to India, to Puri, everywhere. It's not small thing. Very good.
Yeah, Krishna works in mysterious ways. We don't necessarily know why something is happening. We shouldn't have faith that Krishna's ultimately making all the arrangements, and it's for the long-term benefit of everyone. See, there's two kinds of benefit. There's short-term benefit, which is called prayas, and there's long-term benefit, which is called shreyas. So normally, materialistic people, their interest is in the prayas. We just want the immediate benefit. Let me smoke the cigarette, even though and I'll enjoy it right now to give me some satisfaction, but I'm not aware that on the packet it's saying that it's going to cause me lung cancer or like that. I'm going to go blind, and so many other problems will happen in a few years down the track. But I just want, some immediate happiness, and forget about the long-term happiness, but just some immediate happiness. So that's what most people are interested in. But, the enlightened persons, and Jayanti, please don't do that now. Like, that noise is disturbing. Yeah. He's moving a plastic bag around. He doesn't realize how
she wants to see how concentrate you are.
And not very. But even Prabhupada was so transcendental, if he was giving a class and there was some noise, he would ask them to stop it, because it actually requires a lot of concentration to focus the mind like this. It's not an easy thing. So yeah, it's things that can distract. That's right. And Shreyas and Prayas, yeah. So the long term, yeah. Most people just think about the short term, but transcendentalists, they're thinking, devotees are thinking more about the long term happiness, and also Krishna, obviously. So he's thinking about the long term, how we can get the souls to come back home, back to Godhead, and they're going to be happy forever. So in the short term, they might need a few slaps and smacks to get them to come in this direction back to Godhead, and therefore we have wonderful viruses and COVID and mandates and so many things just to help us to push us in the right direction. These different miseries are there: birth and death and old age and disease, janma mrityu jara vyadi, and the adhyatmic klesha, adhidaivic klesha, adhibautic klesha, that are miseries from the body and the mind, miseries from other living entities, and miseries from nature itself, like hurricanes and tsunamis and heavy rain and blazing sun and so many things. So all these different miseries help to push us in the direction of the Lord, and then it makes us more humble, And then we can, in that humble state of mind, we become more attracted to God.
If there's a COVID not happen, you wouldn't be traveling 3 months to teaching the Bhagavad Gita and all that, would you?
No.
It's a
Because
good thing happen.
Yeah, because now people's big egos have been smashed. Their pride is cut down. They've lost their jobs, and they can't pay the mortgage. They're losing their houses.
Yeah.
A big time suffering. So in that condition, even a friend of mine, we're going to one place, and we're going to use a devotee's kitchen in that place to do the cooking class and stuff. And so he's a contact person in that area. So one guy contacted him saying, "Oh, I'm interested to come to the class." But he said not only that, he said, "I'm looking for some spiritual direction in my life. I'm really confused at the moment. Can you give me some idea of who I can talk to or where I can go?" So that's really good. That point that he's come to, that he's very confused and he doesn't know where to go, where to turn. So he's questioning a devotee, to please give me some guidance like that. And it's the same with Arjuna, right? In the second chapter, text 7. This is a turning point, like in Arjuna's life. Second chapter, text 7. You can have a look at that, where he says, "I'm very confused," because Arjuna was trying to sort his own problems out, right? Should I fight? Shouldn't I fight? And he was giving all different arguments why he shouldn't fight. But he got to the point where he couldn't work it out what to do. So does someone want to read that verse?
Yeah. I'm confused about my duty and have lost all the composure because of a miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Please, please, please.
Yeah, so this is a turning point in Arjuna's life, and
It's
in all
a
of
good
it.
point, actually. That guy asked you, "I'm confused." It's a very good point for his life. In turning point, then he come towards the Krishna conscious.
Then in that confused situation, if you approach the right person and then you surrender to them, like here Arjuna is in that seventh verse, is surrendering to Krishna. Now I become your disciple. I surrender to you, become your disciple. Please instruct me. So that's the beginning of spiritual life right there. That's when it begins. You're confused. You don't know what to do. And you approach a devotee, a Krishna conscious person. You surrender. And then they instruct you. And then you make progress. Then you follow their instructions. And by following the instructions, it means you're engaging in devotional service. And then by doing devotional service, Krishna becomes pleased. When Krishna becomes pleased like that, then your life becomes auspicious. Then your life becomes very good. And then you're going to go back to Godhead. So that's right from the beginning to the end. From you start off, you're confused, you're ignorant, you're confused, and then eventually you go back to Godhead. So that's the whole process there. And that's Krishna's mercy that we get put into that situation where we're confused. Because before that point, we think, "I'm fine, I'm okay, I can work everything out, I don't need any help," like that. And that's very unfortunate. So material nature, under Krishna's direction, makes sure that you get smashed around a bit, to bring you to that point where you get confused. Isn't it now we've all our fancy technology and medical knowledge and everything like that, but we can't sort out, a tiny little bug, a virus that you can't even see, and it's completely defeated everyone, so everyone's very confused. Governments are confused and the scientists are confused and everyone's confused, and we can't counteract. We are not able, even with our technology and science, not able to counteract the miseries and suffering that are around us. So that's a good point to realize, that a point to come to when we realize we can't solve our problems. So if we can't solve our problems, then what are you going to do? You try to find someone that can. And who can solve the problems of life?
No.
You know?
Well, it's if anyone is a devotee of ISKCON, definitely can solve the problem. I can guarantee.
Krishna will solve it.
Krishna
Yes.
will not directly come there, but he'll disciple.
Yeah. So in the case of Bhagavad Gita, well, Krishna was directly there. So Arjuna's directly approaching God to solve the problem. But okay, say now God's not here, then you need to approach the representative of God. So either God or his representative can solve the problems of life. And others, if they're not connected with God, it's impossible. Even the most elevated materialist, the most greatest brain, material brain, scientist, everything, philosopher, and politician or whatever, has a lot of money, a lot of position, power, everything, but they cannot solve even the most basic problems of life. Can any scientist stop death? Can any scientist stop old age? Can they stop disease?
They can't even manufacture one apple. There'll need a mercy of the God and the air and the soil and the Krishna and the sun. They can't do anything. Without sun, you can't do anything. Sun is the eye of the Krishna.
Yeah. So without being connected to Krishna, we're all lost. So one lost person to approach another lost person is not going to help. But the lost person has to approach someone that knows their way, and that is I was born in the darkest ignorance, but my spiritual masters opened our eyes. So, he's not ignorant. His eyes are already open. The spiritual master's eyes are already open. They can see. They're in the light of Krishna consciousness. Like it said that Krishna Surya Sama Mahandakar Yahan Krishna Tahan Nahi Maya Adhikar. That Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like the darkness. Wherever there is Krishna, there cannot be any Maya. So Krishna obviously is in the light, and anyone that's following him is also in the light. So it means there's no Maya, no darkness.
When it says one who does good is never overcome by evil, it just makes me think, when I've heard that, in Kali Yuga we've got both the demoniac and good qualities as well. So
Yes.
Is that true for Kali Yuga, that one who does good is never overcome by evil? Because we constantly have that battle between the good and the
point. That's a good point.
And bad. I just didn't know if that's relevant for now. Or...
Even when I'm not around, this is perfect. You bring up things like that, then that's a brilliant question, and then you can have a discussion about that, these kind of things. That's perfect.
But we don't know the answer. That's the thing. Do you guys know the answer?
Yeah, so this is what forces us to go deeper and into remembering what have we heard about this subject like that, and then to see what comes out, and Krishna might inspire you. And if none of you have the answer, that's also okay. Then Prabhupada said about that it got to the point where he had thousands of disciples all around the world, and they would all have some little question, and they were all asking him, and how is one spiritual master going to deal with that? You got like hundreds of letters coming in, because at that time there was no email, so it was just letters. So you got letters coming in, dozens or hundreds every day, and Prabhupada has to personally answer all of them. And and they might have just some small question. Prabhupada, I was just wondering, why is Krishna blue? You know, his whole life's going to get used up. Just answering this.
Why he's playing the flute? Why not he playing the saxophone?
Yeah, why isn't he playing a saxophone? So for a lot of these things, Prabhupada said, don't come and ask me all these questions, but you just keep reading, keep hearing. And the more you keep hearing, keep reading, gradually the answers will come. So even if it's like that, even if you've got a question and you're not getting the answer straight away, don't worry about it. That, like I said, these books are alive. It is Krishna. Krishna, he's known as the Chaitya Guru. He's the guru within your heart. You've got an external guru, right? The spiritual master like Prabhupada. But also we have an internal guru. That's God is within us, the super soul. So if you're really inquisitive to know the truth, that Krishna in our heart will guide us. Like I've had times when I've had a question and I'll just open up one of the books and the answer's right there on the page in front of me. These books are amazing. I told you that time where it's like every day I would open up the Bhagavad Gita. This happened for a few weeks. And every day I opened up to the same page, 434. And just try and learn the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master, inquire submissively from him, render service unto him. He can render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So after seeing that every day for a few weeks, I got into my thick head that I needed to approach a spiritual master and get initiated. So like that, these books are alive. Even if you have a question you don't know the answer, just keep reading, keep hearing classes, keep reading, and the answers will just come. The answers Krishna will arrange, you'll get the answer. But in this case, that it seems like we have, like Bhakti Mala is saying, good or divine qualities in us, like a devotee qualities, but we also have demoniac, evil qualities in us, like lust. We have lust in us, or greed in us, or anger, or envy, or some pride, or so many things. So there's good and bad mix. Sometimes we might have good qualities like humility and tolerance and compassion, and other times we have qualities like lust and greed and anger. So there's a bit of a mixed bag there. So how do we know that all the bad qualities like lust, greed, and anger aren't going to overcome the good ones, like, chanting Hare Krishna and being humble or whatever? How do we know that, that the bad ones aren't going to win over the good ones? But what we know is that, and this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, that Krishna is the well-wisher of his devotees. So once a devotee has taken up the process to hear and chant his glories, then Krishna within the heart, the super soul, Paramatma, takes up the work to cleanse that devotee's heart of all the bad stuff. So you can look at that up yourself. That's first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. You won't be able to see it right now, but you can write it down and look at your first cantos. First canto, second chapter, text number 17. Shrinvatam Swakada Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyam Sto Yavadni Vidunatri Sahitsatam. That's very encouraging because it's saying that.
Is that the one?
Yeah. Second chapter of the first canto, text 17. So he's saying that being the well-wishing friend of his devotees, he takes up that work to cleanse the devotee's heart of all the rubbish, of all those demoniac or, inauspicious things in the heart, lust, greed, and anger, and so forth. He'll clean that out. He'll remove all that. We just have to make sure we keep doing those auspicious activities of Shravanam, Shrinvatam, of hearing about him and chanting his glories. As long as we do that, he's so happy with that we're doing what he wants that he's going to do the hard work of clearing all the junk out of our hearts. You don't have to worry about that the evil part of us is going to overcome the good part of us. All you have to make sure is you keep doing those good things, you know, those auspicious things of devotional service. Like Radhanath Swami pointed out, he noticed before any devotee fell down, he stopped chanting the 16 rounds. You know, so you don't want to stop the good activities. Otherwise, yes, there is a good chance that the evil part of ourself, you know, might win over. Actually, the pure soul has no evil part, but we've just been associating with the material energy, with Maya, for so many lifetimes that our mind is, and false ego is just so full up with all this junk, so much pride, so much lust and greed and so forth for sense gratification, that this has, you know, covered the soul so much. But the pure soul doesn't have bad qualities, but it's just they're not actually part of the soul, but it's covering the soul. Like there's no such thing as a bad soul. Soul means good, means we're part of God. How can a part of God be bad? God is good, and the part of him is also good. But just through a misuse of our free choice, we have come into this material world due to a desire to be the enjoyer, to be the supreme, and we've become envious of him. So temporarily we've gone off track. And but fundamentally we're all good. We're all pure souls. So, and if we engage in devotional service, then Krishna will remove all this rubbish covers over the soul. He'll remove them, this lust, greed, and anger. Does that make sense? Would anyone want to say anything more about that? So that's our hope. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad. You know, how are we ever going to get free from all these bad qualities like lust, greed, and anger and so forth? How are we ever going to get free? But it becomes a lot more easier when we realize we have a very powerful friend within our heart 24/7. That's God is there. He's here. Why is he there? To try to help us get out of the material world. He's there because he's our friend. He loves us, and he wants to help us get out of this material world. And he's unlimitedly more powerful than Maya. See, Maya is unlimitedly more, the energy of illusion is unlimitedly more powerful than us. So, I mean, you can't compare Maya to us. I mean, she's so much more powerful than us. We got no chance. But that's the bad news. But the good news is that Krishna is her boss, is the controller of Maya. So Krishna is unlimitedly more powerful than Maya, than the force of illusion. So the real secret then to get out of the influence of Maya is you have to take shelter of Krishna. As soon as you come under the shelter and protection of Krishna, then you can escape Maya. Without Krishna's protection, you're right, it's impossible. You're never gonna get out of it. You're always going to face destruction. You're never going to achieve auspiciousness. But as soon as you take shelter of Krishna, then guaranteed your life's going to work out. And you've come under Krishna's shelter by engaging in devotional service, so he's going to look after you. Actually, one time, if you know a little bit about the story of Ramayana, the story of Lord Ram, Ravana, he was the king of the Rakshasas, so he was like acting out the role of a demon. But even in that case, you know, who was Ravana originally?
Brahman.
Eh?
Brahman.
Well, yeah, in that life, he was born in a Brahmin family. So, you know, due to bad association, he became an evil Rakshasa. But if you take it right back to who was he in the spiritual world? He was one of the doorkeepers into Vaikuntha, Jai and Vijay.
Okay.
And he was cursed by the 4 Kumaras, the 4 other devotees, 4 sons of Lord Brahma. So he was cursed by him and the 2 of them, Jai and Vijay. They were both cursed to take birth as demons in the material world 3 times. So the first time they took birth was as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. The second time they took birth, so Hiranyaksha was killed by Varaha, the boar incarnation, and Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narasimha, the lion incarnation. And then in the second birth, they took those devotees from Vaikuntha, took birth was as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. So Rama killed Kumbhakarna. I'm sorry, did he kill Kumbhakarna too?
No, he called
Ravana, but Kumbhakarna.
Yeah, Kumbhakarna. Yeah, he sleeps 6 months and 6 months, right?
Yeah. But who did Rama kill?
Oh, no, I didn't kill him, so I don't know.
So yeah, then they got killed by the Lord also. And then the next birth, in Krishna's incarnation, then they took birth as Shishupal and Dantavakra. So Krishna chopped off Shishupal's head with the Sudarshan chakra, and Dantavakra also Krishna killed him.
So who was Kansa then? Kansa wasn't. He was a demon.
It was a demon in his previous life called Kalanimi.
Oh, okay.
So, but then I don't know what his position was in the spiritual world, but my point is that ultimately no one is a demon. Ultimately, everyone is a pure spirit soul, but somehow or other we've fallen into the material world, and in the material world, some people are acting out the roles of a demon, some people are acting out the roles of demigods, like that. So, but ultimately we're all pure spirit souls, but due to some misuse of our free choice, we've taken a wrong turn into the material world. But that can be corrected. And anyway, I was talking about Ram Leela. So Ravana had one brother named Vibhishana. So Vibhishana, although he was born in a family of demons, he had the quality of a devotee.
Yeah.
Even like in my case, you know, my family are all demons, but somehow or other, you know, one devotee appeared in their family, you know. So also Vibhishan, he didn't have the bad qualities of a Rakshasa. He was always inclined to worship the Lord. So the other Rakshasas didn't like him very much. So when the battle was taking place, you know, Ram and his army of monkeys against the army of Rakshasas. Rakshasas means man-eaters. So gives you an idea about what they do. So when that battle came up in place, then Vibhishana deserted his family of Rakshasas and he went over to Ram's side and the monkeys. But when he came over, the monkeys were suspicious of him, that he could be a spy. He could be a spy, and he's just trying to trick us. So they didn't trust that Vibhishan was genuine. But then Ram saw how they were behaving towards Vibhishan and not treating him very well, and he told the monkey soldiers this, that Sakradeva prapano yas tavas medichayachate. And then it goes on, and so what that means is that if someone surrenders to me just once, if someone surrenders to me and says that from this day, my Lord, I am yours, then it says that person, I give them courage and I give them protection and I make them fearless. Abhayam Savadat Tasmai. That means always that person will be free from fear. So the Lord will protect that person. So all that's required is even once, if we come sincerely to the Lord and say, from today I'm yours, my Lord. I surrender to you. I'm yours. You do with me as you like. I surrender to you. So if the soul does that kind of prayer, that kind of attitude is there of surrendering and taking shelter of the Lord, even once, then Lord promises to protect that soul and help him to get free from this material world, and they'll never be destroyed. Just like if you look at in the Bhagavad Gita, back to the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text, it's around text 30, 29, maybe 29. I know, a bit later, 30. Yep, 31.
He quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare its bodily, that my devotee never perishes.
Yeah, so there you go. There's the answer, Bhakti Mala, to your question. Declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. It's in the last line. Na me bhakta pranashyati. Never my devotee perishes. So yeah, we don't have to worry about a devotee being overcome by destruction, because Krishna promises. Actually, it's interesting that why Krishna has asked Arjuna to declare it. I mean, Gulshan has said the answer to this before. So
Yeah.
Gulshan, say it again.
Yeah, because the thing is, he said that declare that son of Kunti that my devotee never perish, because he break his promise, but his devotee's promise he don't let it break. So that's the things, if devotee promise that, it means that's the solid rock. He can break his promise, Krishna can break his promise, but he cannot break devotee's promise. That's why it's the declare Arjuna.
Well, then the question is, why would God break his promise?
It depends, it's circumstances happen that if devotee, like if you remember that it's mentioned in the Mahabharata there, it's that Bhishma, he promised that I will let you having a weapon. He said, I'm not gonna touch the weapon. He said, this is my will that you will be holding the weapon, because that's his vow, promise there. So he hold that wheel as a Sudarshan chakra because he don't want to break his devotee's promise. Bhishma was his devotee. He break his promise. He says that I'm not gonna be having any weapon in the war. But after that, he just took the wheel as a Sudarshan chakra because the Bhishma has a promise, I will have you having a weapon. He said, I cannot break my devotee's promise.
Yeah. And also because Bhishma was about to kill Arjuna.
Yes.
And Krishna could not tolerate that Arjuna would be killed. So in order to protect his devotee
promise, yeah, that's right. That's why he hold the
and also fulfill Bhishma's promise.
Yeah, and then he break his promise because he promised that he's not gonna having any weapons. He break his promise, but he don't let break his devotee's promise. That's why he said that, Arjuna, you are my devotee. You just declare that.
Yeah. So that's actually not a bad quality of Krishna.
Krishna hasn't got any bad quality.
No, but it might seem like, because he sometimes doesn't keep his promise. But that's actually a glorification of Krishna, because what that is telling us is that Krishna puts his devotees as more
first
than himself, that he puts his devotees in as first, even more than himself.
Yeah. Krishna broke
that's a good quality.
Krishna broke his promise only to himself when he said that he's not going to fight or take a weapon, but when he then did, it was to himself. It was a promise to himself.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Yes.
there was a promise from Bhishma. He said, I will let you having the weapon. It's my promise. So Bhishma was his devotee. He said, I can't let my devotee down.
Oh,
Devotee
yeah.
already declared
The
it.
two sides of it.
Okay, anyway. But that's why Jacinta Ardern says, I put country first.
I mean, now we don't take it as a serious thing at all when we make a promise. People break this every day. But previously, that was a big thing. If you gave your word of honor, it was called the word of honor.
Yes.
If you gave your word, then that had to happen. You know, it was
You'd
very
rather drop your body, but don't break the promise.
break your promise. So it's not a small thing
Oh, yes.
about breaking the promise. But the point is that Krishna loves his devotees so much, he would even break his promise.
Yes.
Such a big thing. He would even break his promise if that was necessary to save his devotee's life.
Yes.
You know, so that's what is that telling us? How much he loves his devotees, that he would give up his own life even.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you one story. It's completely mind blowing. Then trying to get it right. Dad.
Bhaktimala, you promised that you're going to make banana bread for me. Don't break your promise.
I didn't promise.
I heard that you said that when you come to Bhakti Tree the other day. He said you're going to make one in front of your Judy, your mom. I can ask Judy. You, Judy, remember that? Don't break your promise. But you didn't say the time limit. This life or next life?
Yeah. Just generally.
This is one of Krishna's leelas where there was a very powerful demon named Balmasura. So Balmasura had fought many kings and imprisoned all their beautiful daughters, 16,000 of them, 16,000 beautiful princesses. He'd imprisoned them in his fortress, and he was very mischievous like that. And no one could stop him. He was so powerful. And Krishna came in. When the princesses sent one messenger with a message saying, you know, please come and rescue us. And they said, we're fully surrendered to you. Like I was telling you, you know, if you surrender just once, then Krishna will protect you. So they said in the message that we're all fully surrendering to you. You please protect us. So Krishna came, and then he destroyed all the army of the demon, and then all of his fortress and everything, and then he cut off the demon's head. And then it was revealed that demon was actually his son, was actually Krishna's son from his incarnation as Varahadev. Because the poor incarnation, you know, one time the planet Earth fell into the Garbhodok Ocean. Actually, it happened 2 times. But one time it fell out of orbit. This Earth planet fell out of orbit into the Garbhodok Ocean. And the Lord, in his boar incarnation with his tusks, he picked up the Earth from the ocean and put it back in the orbit. And that's the pastime when Hiranyaksha, you know, the brother of Hiranyakashipu, another powerful demon named Hiranyaksha, he had knocked the Earth out of orbit. He was so powerful demon, he knocked it out of orbit. And the Lord picked up the Earth, put it back in orbit, then he killed Hiranyaksha. But at that time when Lord Varaha picked up the Earth, actually it said that because the Lord touched the Earth, obviously lifted up, he touched the Earth, so contact with the Earth actually impregnated the Earth, impregnated the earth, and a child was born. And that child, he wasn't known by the name Bulmasura then, because he wasn't Asura. He wasn't a demon. But he was the child of Bhumi. That's why it's called Bulma. Bulma comes from Bhumi. So the son of Bhumi is Bulma. But later on, he became an Asura. He became a demon due to bad. Once again, how does it that a good soul becomes a demon? Due to what?
The bad karma, bad association.
Yeah, Jayanti said also bad association. That's why, it's only due to bad association.
Like a Karna was very good, but his association was bad, Duryodhana.
Yes.
That's why he get defeated. Otherwise, no one can defeat Karna. Only his association was bad.
Yeah. So due to bad association, he became a demon. And then, so Krishna pointed out then that to protect my devotees, I'm prepared even to kill my own son. And what's the evidence of that? That Krishna would even kill his own family member to protect his devotee. Was that he killed Bulmasura, who was in the form of
son to protect the.
He said one time, Krishna said, if my hand caused some hurt to a devotee, I would cut it off. Said like that. If my hand caused some pain to a devotee, I would cut it off. So that's just letting us know, how much Krishna loves his devotees. So you don't really have to worry about being defeated or meeting destruction or whatever. Once you come to Krishna consciousness, that one way or another, Krishna will get us out of this material, take us back to Godhead. So knowing that, we should have full faith and be confident. It's one of the, if you look at the nectar of instruction, there's 6 favorable activities, 6 favorable things to devotional service, and 6 unfavorable. So in the 6 favorable, it's mentioned, that's I think the 3rd verse of the nectar of instruction. Utsahan nishtaya daryat tat tat karma vatanat. So first one is enthusiasm. We should be very enthusiastic. And next one is patient.
How can you be enthusiastic and patient?
Eh?
How can you be enthusiastic and patient? I'm enthusiastic, but I'm not patient.
Yeah, patient means you'll get the result, because that's the next one is confident. So, but the confidence is not confidence in ourselves. We have confidence in Krishna, that Krishna protects his devotees. He loves his devotees like that. That's where our confidence comes from. We're not confident because I am, brilliant and so intelligent and strong and everything like that. That we think we're very weak, very foolish and everything. But we're confident in Krishna. We're confident in our spiritual master, that they're very merciful, they're very kind. They'll get us out of this rotten world. So, and we're patient because we know that, we have spent many lifetimes, going deeper and deeper into contamination, material contamination and everything. And it's not going to all get fixed up in 2 seconds. So it'll take some time to get the results. Like they say, no pain, no gain. So anything good, it takes some time to get the results. Like mango, right? Mango is very good, but you can get a fully ripe mango growing in 2 minutes.
No, and you have to wait for the hot summer if you're on a right month. You can't get in the winter.
But from when you plant the seed, the mango seed in the ground, to when you get a ripe mango, does that happen in 2 minutes?
No.
The one growing out the back of the bhakti tree, that's taken many, many years.
Yes.
Where we can get the right mango. So it said the good things in life, they take some time, isn't it? Anything really good, it takes time to get it.
Yeah, that's true actually. It took me 48 years to get your association. Then finally, I got your association.
So yeah, we have to be. So naturally, the devotee is patient. You know, it's gonna. We will go back to Godhead. We're confident that we'll go back to Godhead, but it'll take some time. We have to purify. We have to purify our existence and go through the process. Like devotional service is a process. It's not just that, oh, one day you think, oh, I believe in Krishna, and then boom, you get some thunder and lightning happens and you get zoomed off back to Godheads on the spot. No, you have to go through the process. You just have to hear about Krishna and then glorify Krishna and remember Krishna and worship Krishna, 9 processes like that, and go through for some years until you die. And then
Krishna might test you. You have to pass in the test as well.
That's all part of the process to see if we're sincere, if we're really serious like that. So we're patient. We know that's there. So, and yeah, very enthusiastic because we realize that Krishna loves us so much and he really cares about us. He's our best friend. He's everything for us. So naturally, the devotee becomes very enthusiastic in that relationship. It's the best relationship.
If you want a Krishna ready for cry, if you want to be happy, just look at the comedy on the YouTube. There's if you want a Krishna ready for cry. Is that true, sir, Prabhuji?
Say that again.
If you want a Krishna ready for cry, if you want a happy, you maybe watch the comedy. You want to get Krishna. If you want a Krishna, you're ready for cry. Cry like a busting like a baby. That's the only way. There's no other way.
Yeah, we have to be really greedy for it, really eager.
Yeah.
Like the baby is so desperate, so greedy for the mother's association.
You can bet anything to get Krishna. Anything means anything. Even if your body, your life, your soul, anything. Without any doubt. To bet that, then Krishna will say yes, maybe. He's ready to bet anything. Even drop your body. That's the only way. That's the confidence.
One time Prabhupada revealed how we can have this strong enthusiasm. And how it happened was that he wrote a letter to a temple president, and he said, I can see in your temple the devotees are not enthusiastic. So Prabhupada had come there just for a short time to that temple. So how was he going to know that all the devotees?
Because you mentioned this one before. He went inside the temple and he see that the Krishna is a bit skinnier, and he said that you're not giving the prasadam very well. I can see the because
no, I didn't say that.
Yeah, who said that? Each one of them, I heard that. He said, "You're not."
Dreams you had. No, I never said that.
No, it's who I heard that, and they said, "Look, I can see the Krishna is skinnier because you're not enthusiastic to serve in the prasadam."
Okay.
And then devotees were stunned and looking at Prabhupada. Really? Oh, Prabhupada can see a lot of things we can't see.
I know he can. But what it was that there wasn't many devotees going to Mangalarti, and he didn't see many devotees chanting their rounds or attending the classes. So he said that this is where the enthusiasm comes from. If you rise early in the morning and you chant your 16 rounds and you attend the classes, read my books, and follow the regulated principles, then automatically, Prabhupada said, automatically you will be enthusiastic. Because what that's doing, what is your chanting doing? What is your hearing about Krishna doing? What is your worshipping Krishna doing? What is your following the 4 regulated principles doing? It's bringing you up to the mode of goodness. It's elevating you up out of the mode of ignorance and passion in the mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness, automatically you're going to be enthusiastic. Enthusiastic that's one of the symptoms in the mode of goodness. You will be enthusiastic. Why we're not enthusiastic is because we're in the mode of ignorance and passion. How do you get out of ignorance and passion? You chant Hare Krishna. You attend the classes. You read the books. You follow the 4 regulated principles. Don't take intoxication and so forth. That's what keeps us in ignorance and passion. So if you stop those sinful activities and you engage in all the pious activities of devotion service, then automatically you'll come in the mode of goodness, and you'll be enthusiastic. You'll be very determined. You'll become very patient, very confident. That'll automatically, all these good qualities will come. If we just surrender to the process, it just always comes back to the process. If you follow the process, you chant Hare Krishna, you'll get the good results. If you hear about Krishna, you'll get the good results. If you take prasadam, you'll get the good results. We just have to follow the process. So that's the foundation. That's the foundation. Okay, let's read a bit. Let's read a bit of today's verse. Still got 5 minutes or so. Okay. Deepa, do you have a little read? So back to 640. You don't have to read the Sanskrit there. It's a very wonderful verse, this verse.
The purport from in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni instructs Vyasadeva as follows, and I'm skipping that. If someone gives up all material prospects and takes complete shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no loss or degradation in any way. On the other hand, a non-devotee may fully engage in his occupational duties and yet not gain anything. For material prospects, there are many activities, both scriptural and customary. A transcendentalist is supposed to give up all material activities for the sake of spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness. Transcendentalist is supposed to give up, One may argue that by Krishna consciousness one may attain the highest perfection if it is completed, but if one does not attain such perfectional stage, then he loses both materially and spiritually. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one has to suffer the reaction for not executing prescribed duties. Therefore, one who fails to discharge transcendental activities properly becomes subjected to these reactions. The Bhagavatam assures the unsuccessful transcendentalist that there need be no worries. Even though he may be subjected to the reaction for not perfectly executing prescribed duties, he is still not a loser because auspicious Krishna consciousness never forgotten, and one who engaged will continue to be so even if he is low-born in the next life. On the other hand, one who simply follows strictly the prescribed duties need not necessarily attain auspicious results if he is lacking in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you. And that Krishna says in the famous verse near the end of the book, 18th chapter, text 66, that abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So even if we, like it's saying here, if you take to spiritual life and you stop doing your material duties, and because of not doing your material duties, you might get a sinful reaction. Here in that 18th chapter, it says that Krishna will deliver us from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. We have to worry about that, that if I take to Krishna consciousness and maybe I'm not doing, like in my case, my family duties anymore to my parents. I'm not, you know, looking after my parents or doing whatever like that. So you could say, oh, because of that, you know, there's a sinful reaction there. But Krishna says that in the 18th chapter, if you surrender to me, and then he will take care of all the sinful reactions. You don't have to fear, don't have to worry. Here in the Bhagavad Gita, of course, Arjuna is worried about sinful reactions. That what if he kills his family members? Can you imagine that? You know, that's definitely, you know, a sinful thing. To kill your family members, to kill your grandfather, Bhishma, you know, to kill your guru, you know, that's very sinful.
Oh, killing the guru is just gone, man.
You know, because it was Dronacharya was on the other side of the battle, and that was his guru, his martial arts guru, Dronacharya. And it was Arjuna's job to kill his guru. That was one of the fights in the 18 days that Arjuna killed Dronacharya. And Arjuna actually did kill Bhishma. Arjuna killed Bhishma, and he killed Dronacharya also. So obviously he'll be thinking, this is very sinful, I'm going to go to hell. But here in the 18th chapter, Krishna says, if you surrender to me, then I will deliver you from all your sinful reactions. Do not fear. So that's an important principle of Krishna consciousness. You just surrender to Krishna. Don't worry about anything. Don't worry about, oh, but then I'm neglecting this or that or whatever like that. Don't worry about that. You just surrender to Krishna and follow his instructions, and he'll take care of everything. But on the other side, if you do all your material duties very well, I'll do all my duties to the ancestors, and I'll do all my duties to the forefathers, and do all my duties to the demigods, and I'll do all my duties to my parents, and do all my duties to my kids, and do all my duties to Australia, do all my duties to the Aussies and the Kiwis, and do all my duties to the cows and the whales and everything. But if you neglect Krishna, then you're going to fall down. You're going to fall
How about
down.
you do both? Duty as well. Duty is also important. Duty as well as surrender to Krishna.
Yeah, so sometimes it'll be side by side, your material duties and spiritual duties. But if your material duties go against your spiritual duties or against your Krishna consciousness, like here in this case, Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight. So that was conflicting. That was conflicting, you know. So in that case, Arjuna ultimately chose his spiritual duties and neglected that other duty to the family members and so forth. So yeah, normally it will go side by side. You know, you do your family duties and your spiritual duties. But like I'll give you an example, like with Prabhupada, right? He did his family duties very well, but at a certain point, you know, he wrote he only had one manuscript for the Bhagavad Gita, and his wife sold it for tea biscuits.
Yeah.
And then what did his wife?
He said tea or me?
Tea or me? And what did she say?
He said tea, and he
tea.
left.
And he left. So he chose spiritual, you know, over the material. So he left the material duty and took up the spiritual duty, because at that point it was like it was not favorable.
His material duty was finished. Like kids was old enough and get married, and
yeah. So that was at a time. You know, so he was like at the vanaprastha point anyway. Yeah. So he wasn't being, what do you call it?
Grasta.
Neglectful. He wasn't being neglectful. But yes, so yeah, but that will happen to all of us, that, you know, you can't do all your material duties perfectly all the time. And there may be some reaction because of that. There may be a reaction because of that, but you don't have to worry about the reactions. If you take to Krishna consciousness, Krishna will protect us from whatever reactions are going to be there. So, you know, we are duty bound to actually worship the ancestors. We're duty bound to worship the demigods. Because, like, for example, the Surya Deva is giving us nice sunshine. If you don't worship Surya Deva, you're actually sinful. That Indra is giving us water. We should be grateful for that. If you don't worship Indra, you're sinful. Mother Cow is giving us milk, which we're drinking every day. If you don't worship the cow and protect the cows, you're actually sinful. You're going to get bad karmic reactions for that. So, but in Krishna consciousness, all that's sorted out. You don't have to do that. You don't have to worship all those demigods and the cows and everything. You just worship Krishna. If you worship Krishna, then everything is nullified. There won't be any sinful reactions. But if you're not Krishna conscious, you might do 1,000 duties perfectly, but if you miss one duty, then you're going to get hammered, right? And there's 33 million demigods. If you might worship 32 million. But what about the 1 million you didn't? You're going to have to suffer. But that's what I mean. Materially, it's impossible. You can never do all of your material duties perfectly. And without doing them perfectly, then there's a good chance that you're going to get a sinful reaction. You're going to suffer in a hellish condition because of that. But in Krishna consciousness, all that's dealt with automatically. You just serve one person, Krishna, and all 33 demigods are happy. They're all satisfied. Like I said, you're watering the root of the tree. If you water the root of the tree, then all the leaves are automatically fed, and the branches and the flowers and the fruits and everything. You don't have to pour water on every leaf and every flower. So Krishna consciousness is like that. You're just watering the root. Everything gets sorted out. You want one? That's the beauty of Krishna consciousness.
So Bhaktimala, don't worry about the outcome. How's the taste like a banana bread? Just bake it.
Okay, well, our time's up, but do you want to finish the purport, or we'll just leave it there?
Well, we won't see you again.
I have to be going because I got to make a phone call to someone
Okay.
at 4:30.
No,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, it's a big purport. We will read it next time, Prabhuji. Because
Yes.
Bhaktimala turned the oven on, make the banana bread, not better let it go.
I've got to get the brownies ready to bring to the bhakti tree.
Brownie is not important.
Yeah.
Bread is more important.
You need to practice the good quality of detachment.
Detachment from prasadam? No way. I
No.
love prasadam. Whatever Bhaktimala offered to Jagannath, I'll just
You shouldn't be attached to which kind of prasadam, though.
any prasadam. If anyone offered to Jagannath anything, I open my mouth extra large like a hippo and attack.
But it doesn't just have to be banana bread prasadam.
Because I was craving for that. I'm pregnant. I'm craving.
All the best, Abhay Prabhu.
Very much. Thank you.
All
Thank
the best.
For Jen.
Thank you very much. And you know what? I was thinking about you, Abhay Prabhu. You can keep 1 hour free in 1 week, a Thursday, a 3 to 4 sort of thing.
No.
Wherever you are, you can alarm that in your phone, 3
Yeah.
o'clock, and then just wherever you be, your devotee, whoever you're doing that, is listen, 1 hour,
Yeah.
1 Thursday in a whole week.
No, definitely. If I have a gap in the schedule, I'll send you guys a message.
You can make a gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the enthusiasm. Enthusiastic. Okay? If you do,
Naughty.
we will look forward to see you next Thursday. Same place, same time on the Skype.
Otherwise,
Thank you, sir.
in a few months. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish you all the best on your journey.
Thank-
And then Lord Krishna will